Hello, my name is Brian Dille, and this is my Pechakucha for our conference in Denver. I don't speak Japanese, so I have no idea if I got that correct, but we'll move forward anyways with the existential questions. Who am I and why am I here? So, Dr. Brian Dille, I teach political science at Mesa Community College. That's one of the 10 colleges in the Maricopa system. It's in the greater Phoenix area, Mesa, Arizona specifically. I have been teaching political science for 22 years. Where am I from? I grew up in Idaho, but I grew tired of the constant wind and snow and left as soon as it was possible. I went to college in Utah at Brigham Young University and went to graduate school at Arizona State University. I always thought, given that trajectory, I'd end up teaching in Mexico, but instead I took a left turn and went down the street and started working at Mesa Community College, which is just a few miles away from ASU. So Arizona is a great state with a lot of really interesting things to see. So the picture on the right is from inside the Grand Canyon. That's my son trudging his way up. And the picture on the left is from one of our favorite slot canyons. It's hard to imagine they're from the same state, but one thing about Arizona is the tremendous geological diversity. I really enjoy living in the state, and my children are fifth generation native Arizonans, which is hard to do because most Arizonans are, like myself, transplants from other places. This is a picture of me on the mountain looking. I'm standing at the edge of about 1,000-foot cliff there, looking down on Gilbert, Arizona, which is where I live, which is a suburb just to the east of Mesa. So it's a fascinating place that's fun to be at. So what is my passion? Well, my passion is, as you can see from my pictures, hikes with my family. This is my wife in that same slot canyon. West Clear Creek is what it's called. The picture on the right are my 4 kids. My oldest son is married, so his wife. And they're a fun group of kids. And so my passion is my family and basically having meaningful connection with nature, with my family, with my community. So what do I do? Well, I teach. I teach political science. I also am an advisor to a Model United Nations program. That's a picture of the collegiate conference we attend here. I have helped dozens of schools start programs, and I advise advisors, and I host conferences. We have a collegiate conference that I host in the fall and a high school conference that I host in the spring that are attended by hundreds of students with dozens of schools in attendance. So I spend a lot of my time event planning. But my day job is I teach political science. I also help run the public policy program at Mesa Community College. So one advantage of working in a community college is I get to be a generalist. I get to teach, I advise, I create, and I get to be around lots of people doing interesting things. So what draws me to this work? Well, the answer clearly is the students. You know, I was trained at a Research One university. I had publications as a graduate student. I would have been a viable candidate to go work at a research university. But early on, I had a graduate school buddy came and said, "Hey, you like doing that active learning stuff, right?" Well, Mesa Community College is looking for someone to help with their Model UN program. So I went over and did that and just fell in love with that environment. If I were teaching at a university, I'd be teaching the children of the elite, one step on their inevitable path towards greatness. But by teaching at a community college, I get to interact with students who are just figuring things out, who, for people for whom a community college is a lifeline to a better life. I get to see the lights turn on, and I just love that part of my work. So what keeps me inspired is the success of my students. This is a picture of some students in our public policy forum meeting in Washington with our federal representatives, where they picked a higher education issue that was important to them, and then went to Washington and pitched that program. Differs every year. It's their agenda. We don't tell them what to do, but we teach them how to be effective advocates. And I love seeing my students go on to significant work, go on to graduate work in prestigious universities, and they themselves make a difference in their community through their careers. And I love being part of that. How do I think the field should evolve? Well, there are norms and values necessary for our democratic institutions to persist. And there are norms and values that are needed in an engaged citizenry. Community colleges should lean into cultivating these norms in our faculty, our staff, our students, and our communities. As educators, we're sort of naturally shy of partisanship, and that's appropriate, but we should be known for being pro-democracy. And the community colleges, because of our connections with business and civic groups in our community, we are ideally suited to play this role in our democracy. So what do I hope to get from this retreat? Well, I want to be able to share best practices. I've got some good ideas. You've got some good ideas. Let's share the things that are working. I would like to learn from your mistakes, and I'm happy to have you learn from my mistakes. I also want to brainstorm new approaches. Being in a room full of passionate people who share a concern about democracy can only produce useful insights. And then I think we can share intellectual resources. We, or the people we interact with daily, have expertise on these issues, and we can share that expertise. To answer the question, what is community to me? Well, community is those people who are both known and unknown to you, who impact your life and are impacted by yours. The people around you who impact you. These impacts create connections, physical, emotional, spiritual, intellectual. This means that we are connected to a community, and the health of the community is defined by the health of those connections. It's like an aspen grove. The picture on the right is a picture from an aspen grove in Flagstaff that is one of my favorite places that our family likes to go to just chill out and absorb the energy of an aspen grove. In an aspen grove, their roots are intertwined. Each trunk might look like it's a separate tree, but it's not, actually. An aspen grove is a single organism. Each tree is just like a fingernail or a hair of a person. In fact, aspen groves are some of the longest living creatures on this planet. It's one organism that is completely interconnected. And so that aspen grove is an analogy for a healthy community, that we can have individuals, but they are so intertwined and interconnected that they create an entity larger than themselves called a community. So I'm looking forward to working with you all. And one last thing to know about me is I'm not good at keeping directions. So I don't have 20 slides, and I think I spent less than 20 seconds and some more than 20 seconds. But that is me, and I'm looking forward to getting to know you well. Thanks, bye.